sir, what do you want to do? Because you just want to be mad at the officer.
I'm not mad.
No, listen to me. You want to be mad at the officer. I would be mad at the officer too if there wasn't a valid reason, which is the only reason I went through all of this stuff. And what I'm trying to tell you is you need to just chill about it. It doesn't matter. You can sit here all day and night long and try to blame the officer for it.
This case is already spinning out of control, and we're only seconds in. Welcome back to Trial Truth, where justice gets loud, raw, and very real. Today's courtroom scene dives deep into what starts as a simple motion to withdraw a plea, but quickly unravels into a heated tug-of-war over officer conduct, mistaken identity, and a $3,000 impound fee that's breaking this defendant's world apart. At the center of it all, Judge Simpson, razor-sharp, direct, and not afraid to call out the drama as it unfolds. On the other side, Donante Linton, visibly frustrated, claiming a chaotic chain of administrative errors, expired IDs, duplicated licenses, and what he says was an illegal vehicle search. But is this truly a case of systemic failure, or is the defendant dodging responsibility? We're about to witness emotional clashes, sharp legal breakdowns, and one of the most tense defendant-judge showdowns we've seen all month. Stick around, this one is a roller coaster.
Why do you want your plea withdrawn?
Just because the situation was misunderstood. As far as like the insurance and the tags, like I understand that. That's why I paid like the day of the ticket. But the officer was following me and then detained me without any questioning and was searching my car for over like 15 minutes. Then tried to get into the trunk of my car when I told him, when he asked me.
Okay, that's why you want to withdraw your plea?
I'm trying to get my vehicle back because I can't afford to give $3,000 to get my car back. My car shouldn't have been towed.
Hold on a second. Okay, so your car got impounded.
Now the real stakes emerge. The $3,000 impound fee. Donante isn't just fighting a legal technicality, he's trying to get his car back, and he can't afford it. This is where Judge Simpson starts digging into the timeline. He methodically pieces together the stop May 14th, Carpenter Road, 10 a.m., and is building the foundation to determine whether the officer's actions were valid. What stands out here is the calm precision of the judge versus the scattered emotional tone of the defendant. Donante wants to tell his side of the story, but Simpson is dissecting the facts. Was the license valid? Were there conflicting forms of ID? For those watching, this is a classic example of how narrative and emotion can clash with cold legal process. Also, ask yourself, if your car got towed over a clerical error, would you expect the court to fix it, or would you take it up civilly against the state?
Okay. All right. Let me just ask you this. At the time that you were pulled over, you were by yourself?
Yeah.
Okay. So, there might have been something else here, but I'll just tell you what I can see based on paper. The offense took place and specifically I'm addressing your statement that your vehicle shouldn't have been impounded. Right. So the offense or the stop, the date that you came into contact with the police took place on, I have May 14th of 2024 on Carpenter Road.
Yes, correct.
Right, near Center Valley. So you're down by Target.
Yeah, I was down by Target in McDonald's.
Gotcha. Okay, in that. Got it. And then just looking for at about 10 o'clock in the morning, right?
Yeah, it was about 10.
Right. Well, I'm just looking at the ticket. I'm just saying what I can see. Okay, so that's on May 14th. When I'm looking at your driver's license, right? Mm-hmm. The information. Your license, you have an enhanced license that's valid.
Yes.
Problem is well, I don't know if it's a problem or not. I have an issue date on that of June 18th of 2024.
Of like when they gave me the new license? Is that what you asking?
Yeah, no, what I'm saying is this. I have that your license was issued June 18th of 2024. Now my question is this. Right, your birthday's in March, right?
Yeah, March 10th.
Right. So let me just work it through here. Your original license that you received was on March 3rd of 2010,
Yes.
right? So that license in 2010, if you get a 4-year license, so 14, 18, 22, and then it should have been 26, which means, well, it looks to me that the license prior to this one that you got in June, there wasn't one.
This section is wild. Judge Simpson starts unraveling what seems like a bureaucratic mess of epic proportions. According to DMV records, Don Dante's license history just disappears. The judge walks through the renewal timeline step by step. Issued in 2010, should have renewed in 2014, 2018, 2022, but nothing happened. And instead, Don Dante ends up with a brand new license in June 2024. This raises huge questions. Was Don Dante driving for years without a valid license? Or did the Secretary of State actually mess up, as he claims? Don Dante says someone at the DMV made a mistake in 2016, even causing him to retake his driver's test twice. That's plausible, but doesn't explain the paper trail gap. Here, Simpson isn't accusing, he's deducing, and his tone shows it. This is where legal reality hits. No documentation is equal to no defense. The burden is on you to keep your ID history straight. Would you know if your license was technically cancelled?
So I went to the Secretary of State and they told me that someone up there made an error in 2016.
In 2016?
Yeah. And then I ended up taking the driver's test twice. I don't know why someone up there made an error.
What do you, sorry. No.
That's what,
In 2016, somebody made an error?
yes, that's what they told me at the Secretary of State. That's why it showed up on his computer that there was 2 licenses, and he said that one was suspended. And
whoa.
No sense.
Where'd the second license come from?
That's what he told me.
That there were 2?
Yes, he after he searched my car, and when I told him, he came back to the squad car. He said, "How do I get in the trunk of your car?" I told him, "You don't have probable cause for that, and or a warrant. I don't know why you need that." He went back and kept searching. Then he got in the car, and I just wasn't responding to him because he wasn't listening to me. And then he said, "Well, you have 2 driver's licenses and 1 suspended, so I'm towing your car."
And there it is. The officer's decision to tow the car based on 2 licenses and 1 being suspended. This part reveals a core misunderstanding about how IDs and licenses function. In Michigan and most states, you can't hold a valid driver's license and a state ID at the same time. The moment you request a state ID, the system assumes you don't drive anymore and your license is automatically cancelled. So when the officer ran his info and saw both a suspended ID and a non-existent valid license, that looked shady. Was it malicious? Maybe not. But the optics mattered, and officers are trained to act on inconsistencies. It's also crucial to notice how Judge Simpson diffuses the search debate. He clearly states he's not ruling on the legality of the car search. He's only here for the motion to withdraw the plea. Court isn't the place to relitigate every piece of a traffic stop. Civil suits and internal affairs handle that.
Okay, so here's what, hang on a second. I don't know anything about the search, and I get that you may be upset about that, but I'm not here to deal with that, right? He said you had 2.
Yes.
But in the case he had a state ID, expired state ID, and maybe that's what the confusion.
But it's like what?
Hold on. The report indicates he had a state ID.
Correct. Expired at the time of the stop. And as we learned previously, you cannot have a driver's license and a state ID.
Right. So, okay, young man. When did you get the state ID? You know?
So I lost my wallet and that one was old. That's why I went to the Secretary of State to figure that out. Because I was confused. The moment he told my
why you went to the Secretary of State when? Right after this, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right after, because I was confused. I didn't know. And then on top of that, when he stopped me, it wasn't like he was even asking me for any of that. He told me, get out the car or I'm going to arrest you.
Okay, look, young man, if you want to be mad at the officer, you can be mad at the officer and you can do whatever. It doesn't get me anywhere today trying to deal with your motion to withdraw your plea.
Yeah.
Okay? So you can tell me all of that. That's not going to factor into anything I have to deal with. Understood?
Yeah.
So when did you get a state ID? Do you know?
Somebody made an error. I don't know. They just this is
okay. Let me ask you this then. You got your license, because I can see it from here, in 2010. You would have had to go back on your birthday in 2014 to renew your license, because it would have been a 4-year license, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you had done that, that license should have been good to 2018. Okay, let me stop there for a minute. You're telling me that when you went to the Secretary of State, you're saying somebody said they made a mistake in 2016.
Yes.
This is a powerful moment. The judge pauses the back and forth to address the heart of the issue, timeline integrity. He's laying out plain and simple that Donante should have renewed his license in 2014. If a mistake happened in 2016, why did nobody catch it until now, in 2024? That's 8 years of limbo. What's brilliant here is how Judge Simpson walks the viewer and the defendant through the renewal logic like a math equation. It's not personal, it's procedural, but it also exposes how one administrative error can snowball into a courtroom showdown. And Judge Simpson keeps pushing. If the state ID got issued, then the license was cancelled, period. Doesn't matter who messed up. This is where you realize, in court, truth matters less than paperwork. Question for the viewers: should courts be more forgiving when state clerical errors impact everyday people? Or is that the citizen's burden to fix?
And this is the second time I've ever even been pulled over. I've never.
Well, again, I don't, that doesn't help me.
Yeah.
All right. I mean,
That's what they told me. They had to call HR, all types of stuff to try to figure it all out. And then I even had to take, I took a driver's test twice, and because they needed me to, because someone made an error up there. I got paperwork at home for 2 different.
Yeah, but that doesn't, Mr. Siller, all you can see is that the only thing he had on him was a Michigan ID.
Well, it's officer indicated that when he ran the plate, he said there was an expired state ID.
When he ran
his name, and
when he ran his name,
right, and he came back with an expired state ID and not a license, not a valid license.
This line hits hard. Not a license. Judge Simpson is drawing a clean line in the sand. You cannot drive with just a Michigan state ID, even if you think it replaced your license. And Donante's confusion, it's totally believable. He says he was robbed, lost his wallet, and went to the Secretary of State for help. They gave him an ID but didn't explain it cancelled his license. That's a communication failure. But the law doesn't care about confusion. Driving with only an ID, even if issued mistakenly, is still driving without a license. And that's what triggered the impound. The legal system isn't built to untangle DMV messes mid-courtroom. The judge's role is narrow. Did Donante enter a plea he didn't understand the consequences of? If not, then the plea stands. This is where justice and bureaucracy collide, and guess who usually loses?
It's good news. It does now have a place.
No, right. And what I'm getting at is, do you know when you got that state ID?
I ended up getting robbed, and
No, I don't. I'm not.
I don't remember because I don't have it on me.
What about the one that I'm talking the one in May, the expired one that the officer saw?
Mm-hmm.
Do you still have that one?
No.
Okay. So whether there was a mistake or not, I can't say. All I know is this, that as Mr. Schiller was alluding to, you can't have a state ID and a license at the same time. So whenever you may have done it, when you went to get, so you would have had about, if they said 2016, and I'm guessing here, but this may make sense. You, in 2016, at some point, you may have lost your license or something happened. You go to the Secretary of State because there would have been no reason for them to have contact with you from, if I just go by the beginning of your license, till 2018. But if they're telling you a mistake is made in 2016, fine. You probably need a photo ID, right? The quickest way for you to get a photo ID, or you could have gotten your license replaced, but somehow or another, you get a Michigan ID. The moment you get that Michigan ID, your driver's license is canceled. And so now what you have is you have a Michigan ID, right? Which is why at whatever point prior to that time that occurred, it could have occurred between 18 and 22, or it could have occurred in that period from 14 to 18. And if they're telling you 16, that's, I bet you, when it occurred. And at some point, you're operating off of a Michigan ID. And then when the officer pulls you over, all you have is an expired ID. Likely when they went in, it really isn't two licenses that he saw, because I don't see another number attached to.
Yeah, so when he said that, I was like, that doesn't make no sense.
Well, it does, but it's not a license he's looking at. He's looking at what he sees are two forms of ID. He's seeing your Michigan ID when he's running it. He's seeing your Michigan ID and he's seeing a license. You can't have both.
Okay.
Judge Simpson gets surgical here, calmly laying out how the overlap between a state ID and driver's license works against the defendant. He explains if you get a Michigan state ID at any point, your license becomes void, whether you meant to cancel it or not. That's critical for viewers to understand. Dante might have genuinely believed he still had a license, but the moment he got that ID card, likely just trying to replace what he lost, the system assumed he was no longer a driver. This is why officers and courts rely on clear documentation, not verbal explanations. When databases show two forms of ID tied to one person, red flags go up fast, and Simpson isn't being harsh, he's being informative. You can hear him trying to educate the defendant mid-case, even saying, I can understand the officer's suspicion now. He's not siding with law enforcement, he's clarifying how the system works.
And so if that's what the officer saw, I can understand his suspicion then. because you shouldn't be able, you can't have two of them. Whether somebody made a mistake or not, it's the Secretary of State, I don't know. I'm just saying you can't have both. So then after this stop occurs, you go to the Secretary of State. They're going to make you, you're over 18, so they're going to make you basically start again, because at some point, that's why you took the driver's test course, because at some point, your license lapsed for an excessive period of time.
Okay.
And that's going to be the period at which, whenever it was, that you had the Michigan ID.
Mhm.
That's what happened. That's why you become the focal point. Now, it makes sense with what, it may not make sense to you when you're there, and you may think the officer's not telling you something, but I can understand it now because you have two forms of ID. And the only one he finds on you, or that you have, is the expired Michigan ID. But you had said you lost your wallet or somebody took your wallet, so you don't even have your new Michigan ID on you.
They just gave me a new one now though, but
What?
they just gave me a new one now.
When? In June?
I got it in my pocket.
No, but that's different. Okay. I'm having to deal with this way too much in my life. That's different than what the officer had you with. The expired one, what he had you with was an expired Michigan ID. That's different than having a driver's license. That may be that, I don't know why you're there in 16, but if something happened to your driver's license in 2016, you go to the Secretary of State. What you want is your license back. And when they're telling you somebody made a mistake, I can't say it's happened. Whatever happens, you get a Michigan ID.
This is the moment where everything finally clicks.
That
Judge Simpson
cancels your
drops the
driver's
line,
license.
that cancels your driver's license, and Donante finally replies, I understand. After nearly 15 minutes of back and forth, the defendant has been walked through a full legal breakdown of how he ended up in this mess. Not because of criminal intent, but because of a bureaucratic blind spot that cost him thousands and landed him in court. But here's the kicker. Despite Donante finally understanding what happened, that doesn't erase the fact that he was technically unlicensed during the stop. The law isn't always about intent, it's about status. You can accidentally end up in violation and still be held accountable. And this line signals the judge is shifting from explanation to conclusion. He's done unpacking. Would you feel that justice was served here, or that the system just steamrolled a guy trying to do the right thing?
Okay, I understand that.
You following me?
I'm following.
And then as you're just kind of moving along, living your life, doing whatever, at some point, and just looking at it from the Secretary of State side, your license, you just lapsed. It's like you went in and said, I don't want my license, give me a state ID, is how they're going to see it, regardless of what happened when you were down there at the Secretary of State. And then that period in time lasted so long that then after this happens, you go back in, you got to basically start again. Make sense? I mean, that make you happy?
Oh, no, that does. No, I understand now.
And maybe so that you can sort of understand from the officer's perspective, okay, because you were bringing this up, and maybe to chill you out a little bit. The officer, when they run you, I now get two things. You don't have anything on you except an expired one, right? But I now get two things that come back on you. The only thing you can show, I don't want to say it, I'm trying to make it really clear because I think this is what happened when he told you you had two. If I'm the officer, I'm not sure that you ever got a driver's license. Okay, and here's and I'm guessing a little bit, but it makes sense. Because I see two things come up, right? And the numbers are going to be similar, but I see two things come up. And the only thing I've got on you physically is an expired ID, which then leads me to the conclusion that you didn't have a driver's license. But for whatever reason, a driver's license is coming back, but that driver's license is gone. Follow me?
Mhm.
Now, at that point, and I'm going to tell you, even if it were me on the road and I stop you and all of that comes back to me, I'm suspicious of you at that point because those things shouldn't be happening.
This section shows how suspicion builds not from attitude, but from inconsistencies. Judge Simpson is role-playing the officer's mindset. Two forms of ID pop up, only one is physically present, and that one is expired. To the officer, that looks like someone trying to game the system, even if that's not true. Now pause here. Dante thinks the officer didn't run his plates until 20 minutes in. He's adamant, but the judge shuts that down immediately. Before they walk up to that vehicle, they know who you are. That line is chilling. It reminds us how much tech is in play. License plate scanners, DMV lookups, digital records, all before an officer even makes contact. Dante's disbelief only adds to the tension. This isn't about who's right. It's about two truths colliding. The legal system's logic versus a citizen's lived experience. That's where courtroom drama lives.
Right? And it would have almost been, and this sounds crazy, but sometimes life's, it would have almost been better if you hadn't had the expired Michigan ID. Right? Because at that point, I could almost say there's got to be a mistake somewhere. But the moment you had the Michigan ID, I think you just have a Michigan ID that you didn't have a driver's license, but somehow another driver's license showed. Okay? That's why he probably has the suspicion of what the heck's going on.
So,
I mean, I'm not saying it's your fault, but what I'm saying is I don't think it's the officer's fault necessarily either, the raising of the suspicion. Whatever happened, as they're telling you in 2016, this was just waiting to occur at some point.
okay.
It was just going to happen. And you
So
probably walked out of there thinking that you had a driver's license when really all you had was a state ID wherever that got messed up.
So whether he did that, but he did all that after.
Did all whatever.
Like, why didn't he run my plate?
No, he knows before he's gonna say anything to you. I'm telling you right now.
Yeah, he didn't run my plate still until after.
Not the plate, the license.
Even that, he didn't look at none of that until like 20 minutes after.
So he does that before he goes over the.
Goes over.
What you mean?
Oh yeah, he knows
He has all the information before he stops.
You know how I know he didn't?
Look, young man, you can sit here and argue with me.
I'm
gonna tell you what. Do a ride along. You will see. They know it before they necessarily.
I'm asking you how. Because how he gonna run my plates when I have a cover over my plate? My Audi is custom.
It doesn't.
When I put it out,
sir, what do you want to do? Because you just want to be mad at the officer. Listen to me. You want to be mad at the officer. I would be mad at the officer too if there wasn't a valid reason, which is the only reason I went through all of this stuff. And what I'm trying to tell you is you need to just chill about it. It doesn't matter. You can sit here all day and night long and try to blame the officer for it. Because the first question I asked you is I said, were you alone? And the reason I asked you if you were alone is because the moment you don't have a license, he can't leave that vehicle. That's why your vehicle's impounded. Because that's the first thing you came to me and said. So if you want to argue, you can go argue elsewhere. I'm here to just deal with your motion.
I'm not mad or frustrated. I'm saying he couldn't have ran my plates.
Yes, He could.
How are you gonna run a plate when the plate got a cover on it? He can see through the new plates that you can cover up. Like, that's what I'm trying to ask. That's what I'm not understanding. When I pulled off on Carpenter, he was coming from Textile.
And you're saying your plate isn't exposed on your vehicle?
My plate, it's the new plates that you can order. So it can be exposed when I allow it to be. I just picked the car up. The car has been in the shop for months. I haven't driven my car all year. When I pulled off on Textile, he just can't, he was following me.
Okay. He's just a bad officer. You know what? Go ahead, sue him.
Have
your day in court.
That's what I'll do.
You go ahead and do it, but don't do it here because I don't have any more time to listen to you. I'm trying to explain it to you, but you want to be hard-headed and not do it. You want to say, how does he know? I'm telling you, before they walk up to that vehicle, they know who you are. Just as simple as that. You may not like it. Everybody else may not like it. That's too bad. What's the basis for your motion?
I appreciate that. I'll just sue him. It's
what?
I'm gonna just sue him. It's fine.
You're not getting anywhere. That's what I'm trying to tell you. You're being hard-headed because I can tell you, why do you think I just went through all of it? The reason I went through all of that is I can tell you exactly what happened. You didn't have a driver's license because I can tell from your record, you didn't get a driver's license issued to you until June of this year.
Okay.
Judge Simpson lays down the final verdict, and it's not just legal, it's deeply human. Donante never had a valid driver's license at the time of the stop. He thought he did. He tried to do the right thing. But due to a tangle of administrative confusion, lost IDs and mistaken assumptions, the state viewed him as unlicensed, and his car got impounded. The judge isn't angry. He's firm. He's walked Donante through a detailed breakdown of licensing laws, Idaho conflicts, and how minor paperwork errors can spiral into major legal consequences. And through it all, one thing remains clear. Understanding the law isn't optional. It's survival. So what do you think? Was the judge fair? Did the officer act appropriately? Was this defendant treated justly or trapped by a system too complex to navigate? If you found this case as shocking as we did, make sure to hit that like button, share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more jaw-dropping courtroom breakdowns.